how a local foundation, the Jamie Daniels Foundation, is working to partner with local school districts, including the West Bloomfield School District, to help promote substance abuse prevention through mindfulness, coping skills, and wellness training. All very important information. And here to tell us more, joining us on the Splash Live, we have the co-founder of the Jamie Daniels Foundation, Lisa Daniels-Goldman. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning to you. And it's amazing to hear about all of this work that you're doing to help with the West Bloomfield School District and beyond. Could you tell us a little bit about what is the Jamie Daniels Foundation?
Sure. So the Jamie Daniels Foundation was named in loving memory of my son, Jamie, who died of fentanyl poisoning while he was in treatment in Florida at the age of 23, after he was manipulated by doctors in treatment um, for financial gain through his insurance. And but the main point of why we started the foundation was felt we had to send Jamie away. There wasn't enough help here locally in Michigan, and once we found out what had happened to him, knowing what we went through, what we continue to go through on a daily basis, not having Jamie in our lives, we didn't want anyone else to suffer that way. So we came out as a family and told Jamie's story and continue to tell Jamie's story, so that hopefully, if we can save one person, that's what we do. So we raise funds. We don't provide programming. We raise funds for programming that help with recovery, stigma reduction, and prevention.
Lisa, first and foremost, very sorry to hear about what you've had to go through and about the loss of Jamie, but it's great that you've been able to turn this into something to help people all throughout the state of Michigan and hopefully beyond. And I want to go into you talk about how you help provide recovery resources for these kids. What are some of those things that you do provide?
So for our recovery pillar, we have helped finance collegiate recovery programming within 9 universities and colleges around the state. And these are programs that are developed on campus in conjunction with the universities and colleges that they're at. And you have to apply, you are vetted, and what the programs do are those that are in recovery who either want to go to university or college or get back to school because they had to leave to go into recovery, have a safe place and somewhere where they can go to continue their recovery with meetings and have 24/7 peer support on campus. And we know that, the stats show us that 85% of the students that are in these collegiate recovery programs go on to graduate and continue with their careers and stay in recovery.
That is amazing, and that's all of this information is so great to hear in helping all of these kids. And when you hear statistics like this, does it just show how far the foundation has come and how much work, like what lies ahead, things like that? Like, where do you see the foundation going throughout the next few years?
Well, I see us continuing until they don't need us anymore. Unfortunately, we have a drug epidemic in this country, and with financial support, more programs are developed, evidence-based programming that are helping these our youth. And we now started our prevention, which is in the elementary schools. And if we teach kids mindfulness and coping through yoga, um, the goal is to give them the tools that they need, that if they feel anxious or depressed, that they don't turn to self-medicate, and they have tools that they can use themselves in order to avoid that going into middle school and high school. If so, that's why we work with We work with other nonprofits. We work with groups around, like the Greater West Bloomfield Community Coalition, who has this mindfulness and coping through yoga that they implemented into the elementary schools throughout West Bloomfield. And the feedback we've received in the last, 2 years that they've had it in the school, I mean, it's just been incredible. This is the second full year that they'll have the program for the students. We've developed it in other communities as well, or I should say, we've financed it in other communities as well. Um, but the children and the teachers learn mindfulness and coping so that when our wonderful yoga instructor isn't there in the school teaching, the teachers can help the students if they're having a bad day. And it helps with bullying and just, all these things that our kids are now dealing with through social media and everything else. Knowing how to calm yourself at a young age will help you hopefully develop those skills as you get older so that you don't turn to drugs and alcohol and self-medicate and have that potential for substance use disorder to develop.
And that's great that you're working to start with these kids at younger ages so that they know this information as they grow up. For those just joining us, we are talking with Lisa Daniels-Goldman, the co-founder of the Jamie Daniels Foundation, who's working with West Bloomfield Schools to help talk about substance abuse and to help prevent it. Now, I do want to ask you, Lisa, what are some of the things with drug abuse and drug addiction that many people might not be aware of, like things to maybe look out for?
That's a hard one because unfortunately, you don't have stages. It's not like stage one, you see this. Somebody who is in distress with substance use disorder, you can go from behaving completely normal and nobody would know, and then the next day it's out of control. But things that you can look for with your kids is, concentration levels, isolating yourself in your room, isolating yourself from your friends, falling asleep, being excessively tired, anxious, angry. There are a lot of, and when I say these things, you can look at any child and say, well, I dealt with that with my kid and they're not on drugs. And that's true. So it's a very difficult disease to just pinpoint a start. But if parents educate themselves beforehand when their kids are young and know what the potential is, because our kids are so much smarter than we are today. They have so much access through social media. Everybody has a phone. Everybody has a computer now. I mean, you have to through school and everything, we want to be in touch with our kids 24/7 when they walk out the door from our home. And through these social media apps, be it, TikTok, Snapchat, they are ordering drugs and they are coming through, the US mail, and you wouldn't know. And I want to stress for parents who are listening, you do not have to be an addict to overdose. Kids are going out on the weekends or with their friends. They are still, if they think that a prescription from their parents or their grandparents' medicine cabinet, well, it was prescribed by a doctor, so it's safe. We can take it too. It's not true. And those are the things that we have to educate ourselves as parents to know that one misstep, your kids' friends say, "Oh, I got this from my brother and he got it from his friend." But nobody knows who that dealer was that he got it from. And there are so many counterfeit pills that are perfectly, that look identical to Xanax and Percocets and Adderall.
That's right.
Um, you wouldn't know the difference having them side by side. So you do not have to be an addict to overdose. One pill can kill.
That is absolutely right. Lisa, thank you so much for your information and for talking about your foundation.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.